Okay, so we're going to add sound for our project. Okay. Okay, let's get started. So I'm going to create a new project here, and I think it's lesson 11 of GLAD project. So let's create that first, and then this is lesson 11, and the same folder, the debugging. Then we create a project. So in this project we'll create a class. We call that underscore sound. So that is the sound class that we're going to create. Okay, so let's go ahead and create that. Yeah, I want to have it for the debug and then release all together. Right, so after this, as we did before, now we had to add all our classes from the previous one, and let's go ahead and do that. I think in your case it should be lesson 9, I guess. I mean the lesson 10. I have object models included in lesson 10, so I will post that lecture later. So but the sounds is important, so that's why I'm going to do the sounds on this one. Okay. And so what are the files I need here? I need includes, I need source, of course, main, and then the images. Yeah, so copy that from the previous lesson, come back to my new one and paste it here. All right, so yes, the main has to be replaced. That sounds good. So I have all that, and then let's go ahead and add the soil file into this. So it is under this. Oh, by the way, I updated my code blocks to version 20.3. If you're planning to do that, there are a few things that you have to do. One is make sure you download the 32-bit version. It runs with both, which is even a 64-bit machine. The other one throws some errors, so I use 32-bit version. Right, and here you go, the libsoil.a. So if I do that, so that's what I'm going to add for the soil part, and click OK and OK, and then run once and see whether I get it right. Oh, before I add run this, I had to add all the files. I forgot that. So let's go ahead and do that. Add all the files, all the CPPs here. Open that and then say OK, and add all the header files. So go ahead and add that. Click OK. All right, now compile and run. All right, so seems like it's working. All right, and this way they're going on projectile motion. This way they're rolling, right? Yeah. All right, so now we have to add some sounds. So well, again, sounds has different formats, just like images, right? So we don't know all the formats and how the sounds work, in how you're going to map it to the memory and stuff. So because of that, we're going to use another library, and this library is called Erklang. I think that's how it's pronounced. It's IRK Lang. So if you search for that, you get right here. You go to downloads on this, and go for just the version which is not required the license. If you want to use that, maybe you have to pay or something, I don't know. Alright, so I'll go with the 32-bit version 1.6 and click on that and go ahead and download. So I already have it here downloaded, which is this one right here, right? So well, after you download, well, I will go through this website a minute. So these are the old versions if you want to do that. So this is the new version, and they have tutorial. These are Hello World, 3D sound, and a few things that you can do, the effects and things. It's pretty straightforward. If you go to Hello World, these are the things that you can do using the sounds, and there are more you can do. Actually, there's a complete tutorial and the source of that, so you can play around with it a little bit more. So I recommend you to go through this at least once, so then you will have a good idea, right? So go to their website and play around with it a little. And the features, it says what formats it will play. So the wave, you can play something called OGG, MP3 of course, and then the XM and S3D and so on. So there are some formats I never even heard before, but it works with those things as well, so it's pretty good. And it's free to use unless you're using a licensed version. So in that case, you're good to go with it, right? So that's what we're going to use. So okay, so what is the setup here? Well, I just download it, right? So once you download it, what you have to do is, this is my the folder that I'm working on. So I have a common there, right? So we may have to copy some files into the common here. So I will put things in my one thing is in include. So I just put something called SNDS, and then I already put one all these H files. Where did I get it? Well, the place I downloaded it, right? So let me open one here, and you go to the downloads on that, and here it is. So when you go inside of this, you can see bunch of files here. Let me make it bigger so you can see better, right? So these are the bunch of files I have in there. So the includes will be in includes. So you go to includes and then you copy all this. Maybe you don't need all, but just for the safe side, I copy that and I put it in my main common file and the includes, and I just create a folder, and then I put that all the H files, but I need only one out of these, right? Maybe others will helpful. So I put that there, and of course I had to go and add a library into this lib, common lib. So I need one library there. So where do I find the library? Well, if you click on this, it will show you lib here, right? And it has two versions. We get the GCC because I'm doing the compilation on GCC compiler. I grab these both files and just put it in there, right? I need only actually this .a file, but the definitions might help. Maybe it's required, I'm not sure. So I just throw those two. Okay. Right. So that's that. And then also they have some DLL files that you may require on the runtime. Well, let me put that into my code as well, which is under bin, and it will be 32 again GCC, and there's some DLLs here, right? Usually remember that we put our .32.dll in our Windows folder, right? You can place these things in Windows folder, as well as there's another place to put these is unless you don't, if you don't want to put it in Windows folder all the time. In that case, you had, when you run this program, you know, whoever is running it has to have those files in the Windows folder. So it's better I put it in my executables. For example, if this is a lesson 11, so I have a bin here in that. So under debug, right, under debug, that's where I'm playing this all my code. So I'll put it here next to that, right? In this case it will be local. Instead of you go and find it in the Windows folder, you can find it here, right? So that is a good way of putting it, right? So that's the setup for the sounds, and obviously I need some sounds, right? So let's create a folder here, new folder, and you can download some sounds that you want. Sounds, right? So I'll put some sounds, searching from internet. I think I already have one for the Mission Impossible. So that's what the music I'm going to play first, right? Let me find it. It's on my downloads right here. Yeah, this one. So that's what I'm going to play in my code. So let's go ahead and put that in my sounds now. Right, so that is the MP3 that I'm going to play. Right, so that is just the files that I wanted. So then what I had to do is create my sounds.h, right? So let's go ahead. First thing is, obviously you need include file for include for your the sound. So this will be snds/my h file, right? So I have something like this. KL, I think it is capital K, lang.h. Right, so that's what I had. Okay, and then yeah, I'm going to use this cout. So I will have my standard libraries for that, and we're going to put std lib, and then I have iostream, obviously. So let's have iostream, right? iostream, iostream, and using namespace std. That's another one, using namespace standard, right? And yes, another one I'm going to use here is Clang namespace. Namespace IRRK lang. Right. That is a simple K, not a capital K, right? Did I set this right? Well, I can check by compiling. Seems like it's all good. Then I will come here and add some. Right, so it seems like it's compiling. So let it do. If it is throw errors, we go and get it. Right. The first thing I like to do is play music. So that's what I'm going to do here, right? So the void play music. So that's the first one. So let's write music. And what I need here is obviously the file that I want to play, right? so that is that. And then I like to have play sound. If you want to play sound, that is something else totally different than play music. So let's play sound. All right. Obviously you need again the character pointer here, and that is for your sound. And pause sound. So if you want to pause everything, you can do that as well, the pause sound. Right, so all the sounds you can pause. I think you have to give the character pointer. If you want to actually drop everything, you can do that as well. You can go through the tutorial, and if you want to add more functionality, you can. I'm just doing the introduction, so I will stick with that. Okay, so initialization of your sounds, of course you need that. Okay, so these are things you need. So we're going to fill up these functions and then make it run, right? So one more thing I like to have is the the engine. So that is the engine is the one we're going to use here, right? So let me create that part that is from the sound library. So we call it iSound engine. So this is the one I'm going to use, and a pointer for that. I'm going to create a class called engine, and then this will be equal to create, right? Okay. Okay, lang device. So this one right here. Right. They have more options, of course. You have seen that in the drop down, but this is what I'm going to use. So that is all. So it will be instance of a class. It is not global, so it will be, sounds good when you're doing this. All right, so go ahead and save this. Compile it and see whether it's throwing any errors. Since it's, oops, there is one, so we'll fix that first before I move on. Well, it's talking about .cpp. So okay, anyway, we're going to fix those things. So we'll come here and see how we're going to edit this, right? So the first thing, whatever the error, we'll check it again, right? So the deconstructor of this thing, you have to put somewhere here that how you're going to stop music. So whenever you get out from the thing, the program, you have to actually terminate all the music that you're playing. So this is how you do that, and then I think I call it engine. Let me check one more time in my H file. Okay, yes, I call it engine, right? So save this, and first thing, you come here and you insert all the classes. So go ahead and right click and then insert all the classes without implementation, right? So, and then I'm going to add here engine is going to drop everything, right? So that is the first thing I do. So it is a drop, right? So first thing I do is dropping things. And if I want to play music, only thing you have to do is give a file name. So it's a file. And also if you really want to so this is engine. If you want to play it in loop, obviously there's a second the parameter I'm going to pass for that. So it is play 2D play 2D, and then I give the file name, and I want to play it repeatedly, so I give the file, right, and then come on, and the second one I'm going to give you is true in this case, so it will be repeat on and on, right? So that is for the play music. For the play sound also, it's engine, so the engine is already created, right? And then this, and play again 2D. In this case I'm going to use 3 parameters, so it will be override functions actually, the play 2D, and this is also play 2D, but here it is for the music, and then this one takes 3 parameters instead of 2, so that is for the sounds. Okay, and I'm going to say the file, and then that, and then I would say false, false, so it is not music, and the other is not going to repeat, right? So no repeats is one, not music or the other. So that is how they define the play sounds. Yeah, you can go and look at the tutorial what this actually means and things like that. If you want to pause this, actually what you do is you can call the same here, but pausing which file name, and how you're going to pause this is, so let's see, I have false here, I mean the file here, and you can call the pause like this, but in this case this one is true. So if you said like that, the sound will stop, right? Initialization of the sound, well, initialization is nothing but I just creating that, and in my actually in my the constructor, actually when you come to .h file, this is where I'm creating my engine, right? This engine is creating there. So in that case, if it is not exist in my system, I would say, well, the sound is not created, so that is one thing I had to return. So here I would say integer, I mean not engine, then I would say see how let's say something could not start up an engine or something. The sound engine did not start, right? Maybe. Right, so yeah, so you can do that. If you want to jump a line, you can do this as well, right? And then return 0. So your program will quit if you cannot restart this, so return 0, so it's quitting. Otherwise, yeah, it's good to go, so it's just return 1. Okay, right, so that is all I need for the sound. Let me compile one more time and see, it's throwing the same error to me. It seems like, let me see what's going on. It says underscore sound. Okay, so it seems like I did not add this into my the library, right? So I forgot that part. So let's go to project, and then properties, and then I need to set up right here. I have to add my sound file, right? So you go here, find my common, and then in under lib I have this guy right here, right? Yeah, so that's what I'm going to add here, right? Okay, so sounds good. Okay, just add that and compile. Yeah, seems like it's compiled and running, so I don't need to run it actually. Let's quit here. And right, so well, that is all I had to add here. And then let's go and make a scene, play music. So I go here to my scene.cpp, and obviously I had to add my sounds. So here we go. Include this guy, include, and then underscore sounds, right? .h, and then I'm going to create another one here, right? Again, as I said, since this is a class for the sounds, you obviously can move these everything here into your .h scene file and then create another scene file for another scene. You obviously can do that. So in that case, each time when you do that, these properties will change or making its own instances. Right now it's global. That means if you create another scene with the click scene 1 or 2, the class, it's sharing these things with that. So that is, maybe it is not good, right? So you can move this into H file or the header file. In that case, it will be capsulated with this class. Keep that in mind. So you can do that. Okay. I have done that. I mean, I'm showing how you do adding classes in many of these, but you can put this in a sounds in the scene.h if you really want to. Okay. Right. So in this case we are adding sound, so it is sounds sound, right? Let's call it snds. So it is a pointer, obviously, right? So it is a pointer and it's equal to new and underscore sounds again. So there you go. So it is sound and then, oops, too many brackets, right? And sound it is, right? So this is what you have now, see new sound. Right, so then I had to initialize it. So let's go ahead and initialize it here. So what I do is snds init sounds, right? And I can load the sounds as well. So I'm going to load music here. snds I'm going to load the music for the background. So what I have to do there is load the music, right? So it is not actually yeah, when you start the game you have to play the music. So I'm going to play it here. So it is only playing once and then it will be there. So if you throw this in a draw scene or something like that, you can see the repeated sounds. It's not going to be good, right? So make sure it is not looping. So if it is here, it will be looping. But when you do that, kicks off, it will kick off once and then it will run. Okay. So the file name I have is, I think, sounds /mp3. Right, so that's the sounds I'm going to play. So it will be play here. That's pretty much when I kick it, so it will be playing there. So that's all I have to do, I think. Let me check if I had to do something else. Oops, I have error here. Sounds init is a function, so I need these two. And go ahead and run. Alright, so you can see these DLLs are loading here and using a sounds B driver. So it will directly contact the driver that you need and it take care of all the things here. So it's pretty good. And then Okay, so the sound's working fine for the music. Now I want to add sound effects. So this music is working, but I want to add that to my keystrokes, either for the keystrokes or I can do that for the collision as well. Well, for now I will add it to the keystrokes and see how that works, right? So let's go to input.cpp and add the function there. So let me go to input.cpp and I'm going to add the new function here for the key pressed. So it will be void key pressed again, right? It's the same thing, key pressed. Let's try overload function in there. Should be working like that. If it is not, we'll look at it something else. So it is sound, right? Underscore sound, sound, and a pointer for that, right? If it is if the overload complains, we can use something else like sound key press sound or something like that. Let's try like this. The overloading should not complain much, so let's have include here, underscore sound for sure. Right, so now you have this and that. So yeah, so let's save this and then go to your input.cpp, which is right here, I guess. Yeah. Right, so I have my key press events right here. I'll add this one just after this. So I'm going to insert. I'm going to insert what? I'm going to insert a new class that I want to put in there. So there it is. So this is that, and then switch parameter. So this will take something like sound, maybe SND, right? And that is my value. So I will get something similar to this, which is I'm going to take the parameter, right, and see what key it is, right? So if that key is, oops, I need another bracket here, right? Oh, well, I'm going to play the same music for the both actions, so I don't need this. Can get rid of that, and instead of PLY I have S and D now, and this is not an action. I'm going to play a sound. So what I'm going to do here is play, right, play sound, and then give the file name. So I download one, so it's called sound, and I think I call it sounds, right? Yeah, I guess so. And then p.mp3, so that's what I'm gonna play. Right. Okay, so now I set up my input.h and input.cpp. Whenever key press, it should kick off this one as well, right? Alright, so let's go back to the scene, and in the scene I need one more here, which is the KBMS, right? KBM and S, and then I'll say pointer to key press, third one, right? Yeah, I guess it's the third one, and nope, not that one. So this is the only problem in overloading. I don't know which one it is. I think this one. Yep, I call this here, what did I call it here? I called it SNDS. So this is what I called here, right? So let's copy that and paste that into key press. Where is my key press? Pop, 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 pop. Right here. Right. So this is what I'm going to have, right? Okay, so let's stop that here. And what will happen? Let's see what will happen when I play this now. All right, it's compiling and run. Okay, so it is repeating the same thing on and on. When I play the music, it's not good, right? So that is not the good way of playing the music. I just want to play it once after the other. So how do you fix that? Well, let's do this now. In Erklen, the website, they have something called take care of this issue by I can check whether is it still playing. If it is still playing, I don't want to repeat over it. So how do I fix that? Well, let's go to our sounds dot cpp, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take care of that in here. So what I should do is I can say play the sound only once. So that means if the engine, right, if not the engine, oops, engine is currently playing, right? Okay, so playing the file, then play the file. Okay, so what is it doing is it check whether the engine is currently playing the file. If it is currently playing, I don't want to play it again, otherwise it does. Okay, so let's try that. So this works fine. I hear a little artifact after I release my key, also it works. So in that case I can add another function to key up here. I'm not going to do it right now, so yeah, you can figure it out by yourself. If it's not, play it around, send me email or whatever if you get stuck with it. But what I'm saying is you can do if you want to stop the music whenever the key up. So this is a key press function. I can have a key up for the sound as well, right? If I have key up for the sound, that means whenever I release my key, I want to pause, or I can drop or the stop the sound, right? So I can do that. Whenever you key up, you stop the sound or the pause the sound, one way or the other. We'll take care of stopping the sound whenever the key up. So in that case, there won't be artifact. Only when your key pressed, it will play. Once you take off your hand, it will stop. So you can add the key up function the same way you did the key down. Okay, right. So I think this is how you do the sound. Eventually I will post this on your canvas so you can look at it. Let me finish the modeling one as well. So I didn't make a video for that um, because I want to do something nice on this, on that one. So I will post that as well. All right, so I'll see you in another next lecture. All right, okay. All right.